It's Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Right now it is a little after 4 o'clock. And I was here for a little while yesterday, making sure the guys knew what to do. Then I left a little early, so I didn't film a video because they're still working and it was a mess. But we got our roof done over the weekend. Or no, I'm sorry, they came back yesterday to finish, but they ran out of ridge cap shingles on this side. There's like a 12 or 15 foot gap. But today we got all the temporary shoring out. So it's pretty cool seeing this place with nothing in the middle. Can admire my beautiful truss up there. Not sure if I mentioned this at any point, but the engineer, when we were talking about this bracket up there, when I had to special order it, I'm talking about the beam hanger masonry bracket up there. When I was on the phone with Simpson, they asked how much weight it was carrying, and I didn't know, so I had to ask the engineer. He plugged it in his software and found it was going to be carrying 9,000 pounds on each side. So this side would take 9,000 pounds, all things being equal. This side of the beam would also be taking 9,000 pounds, which means it would roughly evenly distribute that amount between that and that post. So we're looking at 4,500 pounds on the truss right there, 4,500 pounds there, plus whatever wind load would get added to that. But this is it. We can envision the space now. There will be drywall. These conduits are getting moved out of the way. Now, yesterday I went to the building department and scheduled my rough framing inspection. And usually when you have an inspection, they tell you to call first thing in the morning to figure out what time they're gonna come. So when I called this morning and talked to the inspector, he asked if the electrical and plumbing was done, and I told him no. And apparently, see, I'm not a framer, so I didn't really know this, but they don't do a rough framing inspection and then a rough electrical inspection. They do a rough inspection for everything. So he said to call back when the electrical is done, which I think is kind of weird, because if there's a problem with the framing, we have to wait till after the electrical is done to find out. Just seems a little weird. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do. The electrician is supposed to start early next week. By the way, the welder did come back and finish welding the inside of these seams, so he is entirely done now. Of course, I've been waiting for him every step of the way, and the second he leaves, he sends me the final invoice. But yeah, obviously I'm going to pay it right away, but just go figure. But this is it. We got nothing left to do here in the next few days. And until we do drywall and insulation, that's not that hard. That'll take a day or two. But the drywall is going to take a while, and that's a lot of work. But that gets done after electrical. I got to meet my garage door guy here on Friday so he can see our rough openings. And one of the things we didn't really think about with this beam being, or the post being here, and the vaulted ceiling, the garage doors on this side where I'm sorry, I said that wrong, the jack that they're putting in, the lift. With that being here in the middle, we have to make sure that the garage door is not in the way of that. So we're gonna have to follow the ceiling up with the tracks until it reaches a certain point. Then we could go horizontal, but I'm not sure where that point's gonna be. But anyway, that's it. Don't really have much else to say. You can see the progress right here. And as far as I'm concerned, this job is pretty much done. Like, obviously we have a lot of work left to do, but it's all pales in comparison to what we've done so far. And we have nothing even the remotest bit challenging left to do. You know, it's not going to be easy putting the drywall up there. We're going to probably have to rent a scissor lift, but it's not like it's going to be hard. Right? It's just going to require a little extra muscle, and that's it. I'm going to call that lift in tomorrow. No need to have that here anymore. I don't think I'm getting any kind of discount on the original 3-month quote that we got. They did already tell me that it's going to be approved to put the conduits up in the attic, and then we're going to come out here along, probably have to come out a little closer to the middle and shoot across the ceiling, just so that we know we're out of the way of this garage door. Now we do have ridge vent up there. We're gonna have to put a soffit vent on the front. I don't know if the soffit's vented on the back and if we need to do anything with that, but I mean, it is a heated space. It's not like somebody's living in here, but and this plastic can come down. I'm gonna probably take that down myself over the next couple days. Started doing some of it today. Well, that's it. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Today is Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. It's been a while since I filmed the video here because we haven't really been here that much. The electricians are done with their rough install, and today we just did our rough inspection for electrical and framing. So last time I filmed a video was the day we took the temp wall down. We still had our conduits running across the ceiling, hanging down. The last couple weeks, the electricians have been working on moving those conduits up there. That was a change order because we were gonna, the plan all along was to leave them below the ceiling, but they did not like that idea. They wanted them protected up in the attic. So this is what they did over here, and I'm not too happy about this, the way it came out. It's not quite what I was asking them to do, but we're gonna make it work. We are gonna modify it a little bit. So they call this a ladder, and that's they hang the threaded rod down. Threaded rods are screwed into the rafters, and they put a piece of strut going across, and then they just rest a conduit on top. But we're gonna shorten those pieces of strut, and we're gonna move this outside one closer to the front of the building. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give us a little bit of a better angle for these garage doors. So let me see if I can, it's too hard to see with the lighting. It's bright outside, but these garage doors on the vaulted ceiling section are gonna go up at an angle, and they are putting the lift right here. I'm pretty sure we talked about that in my video. There was a period where they thought they were gonna turn these two doors into one. That plan got squashed, and they're sticking with the way it is now. And this catch basin is gonna get filled in with gravel and capped with concrete on the top. One of the posts for the lift is gonna be basically right in this area. You can see this is in line with the center of the garage, and it's pretty much in line with that post back there. And I know that because when I was putting those brackets on, I was looking down, worried about dropping hardware right into that catch basin. So the garage doors are gonna go up at an angle, but they need to clear that corner of the ladder, the strut piece on the bottom. So what I wanted them to do was strap those conduits to the rafter, and there was something lost in translation there. The owner was not here in the morning when they were starting this, and I went over that plan with his guys, because all this changed a bunch of times. Originally we had talked about doing the ladder all the way down the building to hold the conduits up when they were going to be under, but then the change order came, they wanted those up, and that was a crazy process there. They had to take the whole conduit apart. There's 3 heavy duty wires. I think they said it was 4/0 gauge wires, but I mean, those things were like thicker than your finger, and they're very hard to work with. And so they had to dismantle the old conduits one piece at a time. They're like 10-foot sections. I think these are them. And then pull it out one at a time. But those 3 wires they get bunched up. They're not straight. It was a nightmare. I was here for like half a day with them, helping them, and I can see the struggle they were going through. So yeah, that's that. I think it's gonna be all right. As long as those garage doors go in okay and we're not in the way of the lift. You know, nothing about this job is made to look pretty. It's just functional. So garage door guys came and said they can make it work, so I'm not worried about it. Framing inspection passed, flying colors. They had nothing to say about anything. So I'm kind of shocked right now that they didn't want us to change anything, because I don't think I've ever had a single inspection where they didn't recommend you do something. So still kind of reeling from that, but it's great news. We can get on with our insulation. It's been weird because we were here on this job for, I don't know, 2 months straight, every day, full crew guys, and then we pulled out a few weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. We've been off doing other stuff, and now we can come bang this out. So next steps are bat insulation. We have to do the baffles on the rafters where, you know, we have a sloped ceiling in here. That allows, I don't even know if there's soffit vents back there, but theoretically there's supposed to be soffit vents on the back. The baffles let ventilation air go up the soffit, up the rafter, and out the ridge vent up top. So we have to put, the baffles are like the pink styrofoam things. They just give you a little air gap so the insulation doesn't block the space. Those are pretty easy. You just pop them in place and staple them. But another thing we were pretty worried about in here was insulation, what they were going to say about new insulation codes, which are ridiculous these days. to get the R value that you need, which is basically more or less for occupied living spaces like residential or, you know, light commercial office space and whatnot. This does not fall under that category, luckily, but the R values that are required in modern codes, you can't even fit fiberglass in a 2x6 wall to get the R value you need. So you need spray foam, and it's really expensive. I don't even think you can get spray foam high enough R value for the code. It's crazy. Somebody, you know, one of these insulation companies lobbied Congress to pass these codes, and they're making bank. But so the inspector told me we can just use whatever bats we can fit up there. It's great news because that's what we budgeted in the beginning. So we do insulation, call them back out, they'll get here quickly and look at it, and then we start drywall, which is going to be a bear. We need to use 5/8, and we need to get some kind of lift for this vaulted ceiling section. Luckily, that rolling scaffold looks like a good height that we're going to be able to work up there, roll that around to do the rest of the room. But over here is where it's not going to be that easy, so we got to figure something out. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Got here a little early, spent a couple hours cleaning, and right now it is a little after 1 o'clock. My guys were here yesterday for most of the day. They left a little bit early because they finished, but we had to install this access point up there because there's junction boxes in the attic, and you can't just close it off. If you have junction boxes, you need to have access. So we did that. We took the rest of those we had wood hangers holding the old scaffolds up, or the old conduits for the big pipes, and we took the rest of those out. There was a couple other things, but it was 2 guys for most of the day, probably like 7 hours. And the only reason I always talk about how many people I have working and when is for my own records, so I can go back and watch the video and keep track of my guys' hours. So, oh yeah, we also did the catwalk up there. We screwed those boards down so that if anybody ever needs to work up there in the future, they can pop their head up that hatch and there's a catwalk. That'll be nice for somebody down the line. Yeah, that's it. I will be back soon, hopefully, with some updates on the installation. So thanks for watching. Today is Monday, September 9th. It's been a while since I've done a video here, but we honestly don't even remember where we were last time. I think it was the day I got the inspection passed, and we have since done the insulation, and we're starting drywall. And I'm gonna take a ride down to the building department and see if they will accept my pictures for the installation so they don't have to come down, but we'll see about that. We still got... Today is Monday, September 23rd. It's been quite a while since I've filmed here. We've got a lot done since then. We're almost done with this job. And right now our drywall is hung, taped. This is what we're leaving them. And the electrician is coming this week to finish. And the garage door guys came last Friday and started, but apparently they got some of the wrong parts sent, which is going to be a delay. Still waiting to hear when that will be ready. Now, I don't even remember, it's been a while since I filmed here, but we did all the insulation. This is what we have left that needs to get returned or reused somewhere else. We did all this, the eaves, soffits over here. We have, so the insulation follows the rafters and then it goes straight across these joists and then there. So above the joists in this attic crawl space, there's no insulation. And we had to use the baffles anywhere that the rafters have insulation. We used these baffles to provide ventilation. And then when we did the soffits over here, we've got the long strip vents. Those are just sheet metal punched out with a bunch of slots. And since we have the baffles in there, we provide airflow all the way up the top of the rafters under the plywood, and that's how it's supposed to be. And then it goes up out the ridge vent. So we had to do an insulation inspection. That passed, obviously. Last week was all drywall. This was not easy to drywall up there. This is all 5/8 rock, so it's pretty heavy. We had to rent a scissor lift, which the painter is using it right now over there. You can maybe see it through the window. But we're wrapping up quick. The electricians should be pretty quick with their finish work. Looks pretty easy to me. I mean, I don't see any big surprises there. They just have to put outlets in all these boxes on the ceiling, and then the lights that are getting rehung just have wires that plug into those outlets. So what else we're doing? We already started painting today. We're gonna have all this plywood painted on the outside. The fascia board is also gonna be the dark gray color. So we're painting the top of these brick posts. Might have to go down to match it just because it's gonna be fresh paint up top. And that the fascia board is gonna be the dark gray. Gutters are coming in sometime this week. That's about it. We're wrapping this job up quick. Next week I start a huge job. I mentioned it earlier in my series that I had a big job coming up in July. I was trying to get this job wrapped up for that, but that got delayed. But we're starting next week, so kind of worked out nice with the timing. Today we did a nice cleanup in here. Preliminary final clean, I guess you could call it. These are all the hardware for the garage doors. These springs are what balance the weight so it's not so heavy to pick up when you raise them. Apparently the tracks got sent for 10-foot doors instead of 12-foot doors, and that's why the doors are going to be a delay now. Not happy about that. However, we are going to be done with all of our work soon. I think really in the next few days we'll have our painting work done, and it's just the electrician, garage doors, and gutter guy. So we're not hands-on with any of that. But yeah, this is it. There were definitely some big delays on this job, and I guess really the biggest delays we had were from the metal fabricator. Just working with his schedule was not easy. And then when it was time for the electrician to come in and do his rough, by the time I let him know, he was booked out a couple weeks, so he didn't get here for a while. Insulation actually took longer than I I thought it would. We were probably working on that for 4 days or so. And drywall took about a week and a half. I thought it was going to take a week. But, you know, it's mid to late September now. These guys are getting ready to ramp up their heating season. We're kind of finishing just in time. Unfortunately, we wanted to start this job in March, and the building department, we didn't actually submit our application till March because we were getting things ready with change orders and reviewing the plan from the engineer, making some last minute changes to the plan regarding this vaulted ceiling. We also filled in this catch basin over here. It's covered up by these baffles, but our mason came and filled that in. That's where the old catch basin was. When they put their lift in here, that's where the footing, or that's where the post lands, right on top of that. But anyway, all in all, they're very happy with the work. Definitely wanted to be done sooner. I mean, if I go look at my revised schedule when we decided to eliminate the two-phase aspect of this job, I had us finishing in, let's see, early July. So that's crazy. I'm running 2 months ago. But, you know, we're not causing any major problems with being here still, but if we took much longer, it would definitely be a problem. These guys, this place gets crazy in the winter, especially midwinter when those trucks are coming in, filling up multiple times a day. But, you know, we also painted this loading dock for them. That's a totally separate job. We're just kind of finishing that up. And that was a big deal because those pipes were pretty rusted and takes a very special paint, a lot of prep work. We've done a few of those jobs. We also painted that big tank for them, inside and out. That was crazy. But as far as this job goes, we are pretty happy with everything. They're very happy, they love it. And we got our switches for our furnaces. They're going to be hanging these units from the ceiling. Electrician had to rough in the wires for them for that. But I think that's it. It's been a pretty long video so far, and I will do an update once everything's done, I guess. No point in updating this until today is Thursday, November 7th, 2024. And this is going to be the final video in this series. It's been a while since we've been up here, but this job is officially done. Well, we do have to schedule the final inspection, but we're going to call that in any day now. And I think since the last time I filmed, which was a while ago, I don't think these garage doors were in. Had big mishap with those, but had to get another company in to come in and finish the job. They got all new tracks, springs, a single panel up top. That was kind of the whole guideline for raising the front of this building, was to get one more panel on top of these. And right now I actually just came here today to give them a price to help duct these. I think these are gas heaters. We have to put the chimney pipes through the roof for them. So we need to give them a price for that. It's an add-on. This is their beautiful new lift. See, they have a brand new tire machine here. This is the tire changer. Looks nice. These vaulted doors, the vaulted ceiling doors, came out great. we were pretty worried about how the electrician ran those conduits a little far below the ceiling, but the garage door guys fit those in nicely. You can see how it goes up right under the conduit, but it still looks good. They kept it nice and tight to the ceiling as much as they could. Well, it's been quite the transformation here. They don't want to start putting this garage back to work until the inspection is done. Okay, it's been pretty warm out so far this year. Heating season has not been too crazy. But they are super happy with everything, the way it came out. This is the material that we'll be using on the roof. This is the boot that goes above the hull on the roof itself. You can see why it's curved. Don't know what the rest of this stuff is, but yeah, they got 3 of those heaters hanging down. That was a separate company that came in and did those. Yeah, this job is pretty much done. It's a great success. We do have to put a little door cover over this crawl space attic access. That's not hard right there. But that's it. We are actually going to be starting a job in their basement soon, doing an epoxy floor system, turning their basement of the office building into a training center. So we're going to be on site a bunch, and we'll just do that hatch at some point then. Just called in the dumpster today, but I think that's about it. I want to thank anybody who watched these videos. Give a special shout out to my biggest fan, Pop-Op. And hope you learned some things and enjoyed watching our progress. And I'll be sure to be back with the next cool job we do. And that's it. Thanks again, and have a good one.